We're back. Not only we're back, but we're back on the bench. I'm Rodney from Wholesale Automatics, and I'm joined today with Trevor, Operations Manager here at Wholesale Automatics and Chief in charge of knowing a lot more than me. Talk about knowing a lot more than me, please welcome Kalen behind the camera.
Hello.
Say hello, there he is. And today we are going to go back a few years.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to probably one of the most common automatic transmissions probably ever built. Right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
4L60E, which is an electronic 4-speed Chevy auto. It was found in Commodores, Silverados in this case, which is a 4-wheel drive, and I'm not going to bother going through the list. It was absolutely huge. Before that, we had the VN VP Commodores that had the early version that had the cable kick down and was only partially electronic. This one is a fully electronic transmission, and there is a lot to be said about this transmission. This one has a problem. We're going to open it up. We're going to see if we can find that problem. We're going to talk about it. Because this transmission is used in so many different configurations, we're talking about not only in street cars where they're doing them up like Commodores and stuff like that. They're used in 4-wheel drives. They're used in hot rods. They're used as manual to automatic conversions. It's an extremely common conversion and a common transmission. Probably, like I said, one of the most common around. We've got transmission controllers for them. We've got all sorts of adapters, all sorts of things with them. But they have their limits. This is certainly not the big boy in the range, right? It's what we call a medium to light. And as we go through this, we will discuss. We do have some upgraded parts, and I've got a whole shelf of them here, and we'll go through these as we're pulling the transmission apart, because we want to show you sort of some of the differences on them. And basically, where you should limit using this transmission. But let's get into it.
Yeah,
let's get it apart.
Let's do it.
First of all, let's see if we can find the problem and what went wrong with it. And we'll get into it. It always starts off slow. I think we should always take the bell housing off next time, so Kalen's not sitting there twiddling his thumbs trying to, like, hurry up. They really don't want that bell housing to come off, do they?
Nah, they're a horrible bolt.
Right, we'll put that one out of the way. All right, what's next? Well, the extension housing's half hanging off. You're going to go off the
Yeah,
pump.
I did prepare a little bit. A little bit.
Too far in the way. All right. Now, because we've been doing these transmissions, we know the habits, we know normally what goes wrong, and there's a vast difference between what goes wrong with one that's just been driven well, maintained well, and just gotten old, against someone that's tried to stick it into a Toyota Land Cruiser 80 series behind a big LS engine and, mohawk, pierced nose, and just drive it like they stole it. There is a complete different thing of what goes wrong, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, big difference.
Well, there you go. There's another variant of it. 4-wheel drive.
Well, exactly right.
Factory
Forward
four-wheel
drive, small output shaft versus a long output shaft for the 2-wheel drive. I can tell you right now that oil's not looking pretty.
Stinks. That's it.
Get it off.
Go for it.
Whoa! Oh wow. And thankful you haven't got smell-o-vision. I tell you right now, you'd be almost gagging. Get a bit of a look. I can never get these camera angles, but if I stick it between the two here, one of them will actually work. But that one's going to need some drain. No metal, so this isn't a big blow-up that I know of. What we're suspecting is a certain clutch, and it's a very common clutch. We're going to go after it.
Well, there's a bit of metal in the
There is
filter.
in there.
Yeah.
The filter's not looking great.
No.
These are really, really hard to tell. I don't know if you can see in there, Captain Little Camera, but that's absolutely caked in there. I'll get rid of these out of the way. All right. I'll go after the valve body.
A lot of bolts.
But they have a lot of electronics on these, and actually that is actually what they call it. It's an internal inhibitor switch. What would you call it?
It's a pressure manifold.
Pressure
So,
manifold,
sensors
yeah. And they have little mini switches inside these things that you can actually push, and these pack up a lot too. So they do cause a lot of electrical problems in this. It's actually well known, and it's an aftermarket part you can get quite regularly because of the failures of it. I don't see too many of these solenoids failing. Well, not to say that they don't, but it's not the item you're normally pulling them apart for, are you?
No, not really.
Pull the old pan.
Yep, get rid of that.
Get rid of that. Looking battery. The valve body of a 10mm bolt.
Yeah.
You know what I've never understood? Maybe someone out there can answer the question. This is an American auto, right? Built back in the day using metric bolts when American aren't actually metric. And they certainly back then. At least they're better than the English. Sorry about the English people out there. My background is English. They're confused, you know, because what is it? They've got the decimal system and that still use mile per hour on the speed limit. It's like, how does that work? At least America tries to be consistent, except for when they build transmissions, all 10mm. He's still going on these bolts.
Ooh.
Someone did that one up.
Someone did that one up good. Again, give me 30 seconds. Do you want to whip those off while you wait and it'll speed it up, I suppose?
Oh, hello, he's gotten me working.
Yeah, do it.
I can't even find a 10mm socket. I did my apprenticeship when this wasn't even invented. And this is a late, was it a 90s auto. So it goes to show you how old I am. Was it when I did my apprenticeship, we were doing 2-speed. Power glide. 1960 stuff, eh? Went to 3-speed during the 70s. 8-speed in the 80s. I'd say 8-speed, sorry. 4-speed in the 80s. Oh, you got it.
Yeah. Ah, just take it off with it. That's fine.
Got it off?
Yeah.
Full of check balls. So this, for anybody who hasn't seen, is a valve body. Now this is an open valve body. And there's two distinct types of valve bodies you can get. You can get valve bodies that you take off that have both halves actually sandwiched onto it. So it has an upper and a lower, which means it has no channels in the case. This one, on the other hand, actually has all its valves and everything else. But the other half of this valve body is actually part of the transmission case. We'll have a look at these little
Accumulator?
things. See if I can get it out. I have to blow it out. We've got an air gun here.
Yep.
Watch me make a mess.
Yes.
Funniest home videos coming up. See, Trevor's already ducking. Oh, we're good.
Got it?
That can go horribly wrong. That's a plastic accumulator piston.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, they crack.
They've got to crack. They do crack, do they?
Yeah.
I know because all the aftermarkets we got aftermarket heavy duty ones in there as well, and they're actually made of aluminium. And also the bores in the middle of these can actually flog out quite horribly. But this is actually pretty good. So throw that in here. A plate. Another thing on these happens. Oh,
It's been fixed.
well, yeah, this one's actually been repaired before. I'll see if I can show you what happens. The check ball, the steel check balls, and I will try to do this, punches out these plates. And you can see here, there is a massive burr sticking up. If I run my finger across it, I can't. It's actually that sharp a burr, and that's from a steel check ball bouncing up and down on it all the time. And it won't be more, there'll be more than one. But the thing is, it's gotten so bad, it's actually punched a hole straight through this plate. And someone has put in what they call, it's a repair. And I don't know if you can see it. We might have to do a B-roll later on to really close up on that. But what happens, you drill it out, you put these repair plugs in it, and the check ball sits on top of one of these. So this plate has had a past history. Not a really good one.
We do have the replacement plates as well.
Well, that's what we tend to do now.
Yeah.
Instead of repairing them, we just put brand new plates in them.
Yep.
I think repairing them was a big thing probably 10 years ago, not so much now. You just put brand new plates in them.
There we go.
See on there, remember I said about the other half of the valve body is actually moulded into the transmission case. Now that's quite unusual. It's common for Chevs.
Yes.
And what else did it? No, just Chevy. Really just 4L.
Yeah, Ford didn't do it. No.
Yeah, 4L60, 4L80,
Yeah.
4L30. I mean,
Yeah.
all of those did it. What about even the 6L? That changed.
Yeah, Japanese stuff didn't do it.
Yeah, no, they all
Yeah.
went to a full valve body. But this one, no, they've always done it that way. All right, we'll get the wiring out. Special tool. That made me cringe then. That must have hurt.
No, plastic can't work.
Want to have a look at this? This is a servo. If anybody ever knows about these type of transmission, you hear people say the Corvette piston or any of that. This is actually the piston that we're talking about. We'll have a look.
The whole thing for you.
So this is an assembly that you get, and this applies second gear, and it also does fourth gear as well. And I think second gear, or I don't know exactly which one, but one of them is applied by one piston, where it moves the whole lot, And then the other one, it actually moves this piston. Now, one of the big differences is the diameter differences, because if you look at a Corvette one, and I'll quickly open it up, I am going to make such a mess with this new packaging, but I'm going to do it. Who didn't eat their Wheaties in the morning?
Right.
My word. Jeez. Here we go. Jeez, after working with transmission, you're going to have a bath afterwards. But let's have a look. You see the difference in the size of the piston chambers. See the diameter here versus here. Now this is what we call a Corvette piston, right? And a lot of people put these in more modified street rod, hot rods, and then you can get a billet one as well, where the whole end cap, the whole thing is actually a billet one. That's more drag racing, really high-end power and all that. But the trouble is, you can use these and actually just damage the band if you don't actually upgrade the band as well, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The poor bugger that's got to open this up and reuse this after I've gotten to it, you know, it'll be one of our guys for sure. Yeah. I'll put that away. Put that away. So yeah, big difference in pistons. I'll go chasing that.
A few moments later.
A short interval later, he arrives back. All right, put this all back together. Look at that, I knew how to do it. The pump.
Interesting bits now.
Oh yeah, we'll get this apart. Hold it so it doesn't fall apart. Geez, you bought the most manly gun with you, didn't you?
That's Blake's, that's the apprentice's.
Oh.
And he's at trade school this week and he left his toolbox unlocked.
Ow!
Yeah.
You need a bigger rattle gun.
Yeah, I think I might get an
No.
air gun.
No.
Give me a sec.
One eternity later.
I did ask him, you got all the tools? Yeah, I got it. Went to take the bell housing off, and the very first stud he had to take out, he goes, oh, I need an extension for that. Didn't get anywhere. He's good though.
2,000 years later.
Geez, that other gun must have been piss weak. It took no effort at all.
No.
Take that off. We'll have a look. This is the inside of the pump, and if you haven't seen inside one of these type of pump, what we call it's a variable vein pump, and all these little veins actually come out. They're little veins. Now this should have about 13 of it, if it's a late one, about 13 of them. And what happens is that as this turns, the veins stick out further on this side and then collapse on this side. But not only that, they're actually captured in this outer pump, and we call this a variable half because it has a spring on it, and that can actually vary the pressure output on the whole lot as well. Now, in the early days, right, underneath here, we used to have these rings, and I still have them, if I can get one out. They got these rings, and they used to snap. And when they snap, all these veins used to suddenly shear off, and they just absolutely blow the pump apart. You open it up, and it'd just be a spaghetti of broken parts. Then, as years went on, they actually put more rotors in. The early ones used to have like 9 veins and 7 veins in that early one. Now they're up to 13 veins, and they finally got it. The user, you can get aftermarket, what they call it, no yo-yo rings from Transco, and they used to work in that. We used to do all this, but the later model boxes didn't have as many problems with it all. But that pump's looking all good. There's no big scour marks there on that. One of the fun clutches. I'll get to that in a sec.
Yep.
One sec.
I won't go with you too far.
Let's get these out of the way. Sometimes these pick up. This has picked up a little bit on there. It's really hard. It has created a groove, a very light groove. I rung me, see fingernails getting stuck on that spot. So something has gone through this pump, but we can actually recondition this. We can actually give that a bit of a skim across and give it a new surface. So that's not a deal breaker there. These bushes always run quite heavily. They always seem to cop it quite harsh.
Yeah, that one's gone.
It is. Oh yeah, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
With all the
it just
oil
caught
on
the
it.
light and I could see it.
Yeah, it's actually got big. I wonder if I can get that in there. The camera can see there's a big. It's actually a really heavy groove running around it. But it's just had the that bush is flogged out. Really common. 4L60E and the earlier Turbo 700s used to really flog out those bushes on the front of them, and they've invented all sorts of updates on them.
Yeah.
You know, pump bushes and all
Someone's-
that, and how they stake them in, and
Yeah, someone's
Teflon ones and everything.
staked it in a little bit.
Yeah, so someone's already had a crack at that one.
Yeah.
So this box has been built before. I'll have to see. Well, tell you what, that drum's not looking
Yeah, I can
great.
see. I can see the problem.
You can see the problem. Oh, geez.
Give that to you.
Yeah, band's a bit burnt.
Yep.
Gee, she's slipped. Hard to see. You can see this is actually charcoaled, and actually here, where in actual fact is where the soft, what you call the rivets. It's like a melting rivet that puts this end cap onto the band. It's gotten so hot that it's actually blistered the lining off on the inside. But look what it's done to the drum. Absolutely burnt it. So that would have been second or fourth gear. I would have thought second gear, most likely. That's actually been slipping on it. So that's copped a, it's not horrible, but that's got a big burn mark in that.
What you can find sometimes
And you
is
can-
that's actually over years ends
Yeah,
up doing that.
it bows.
So
It doesn't
the
feel
band
to me
touches the
like,
outside edge.
yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it's actually bowed, but
No.
you do get them so they actually dish out.
Yeah.
And these bands, especially if they've been used on a high performance side of things, where they've been given a hard time. And part of the things when we actually upgrade them, I've got one here. This is the band that we use, and you'll see that there is actually a noticeable difference. See how much wider, and this is actually a Kevlar high performance band, and you can actually see the difference. It's actually a huge difference in how thick it is. So it gives us a lot more clamping area on the band as well. So that's one of the things you can do if you're going to put some more power through them. Oh, actually, I've got to do this clutch. We got a little screwdriver for you? A pick, just something a bit manly.
Pick will get it. They're not strong circlips on these.
All right, because I can actually see there's actually a bit of clearance in there.
A lot in there, yeah.
See, you can, I don't know if you can actually see it, get it in the right spot, but that seems like a lot of clearance in there. It's not supposed to have that much, but whether it's burnt or whether it's just an old clutch that's just worn down a little bit as it's gone, I'll have a look. No, it's not burnt, it's just worn down. It's not too bad. I mean, the clutches are glazed, and they've got a bit of bronzing in colour on them as well, but that was not the reason why this failed. That's not too bad in there, but the clearance is horrible on it. So those frictions definitely would have
You can
needed.
see those frictions have started to bite into the
Yeah.
alloy there.
Jeez, it's copped a bit of a hard time, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say the
Yeah,
band.
so the frictions from this clutch have actually been chattering. This is actually where, so you get a friction here, I'll just pull one out. And these frictions run on here. And you can actually see that this clutch has been chattering a lot, and it's just worn a good groove around the inside of this, around the outside of this drum. These seals tend to pack up a bit, not too bad though this time. Look how many, oh, you've already undone it for me.
Yeah, just pop that
Oh.
a little bit.
Let's get this. This is normally one of the culprit clutches. Oh wow, it's burnt. Not burnt senseless, but it's burnt. Look at that. Those linings are burnt. The frictions are black on this. Now this is really common. This is what we call the 3/4 clutch pack. So it's on both third and fourth gear. And it's always been that way. This clutch, for what, the 15 years that they built this auto, has always had problems with this clutch. And probably because the frictions are so skinny. They're such a light little skinny clutch. And you can get various upgrades to this, but it's really, really common. Normally it's the third gear is a symptom. If it's slipping in third gear, so if you've got one of these transmissions and you're slipping in third gear, it is definitely this clutch. But you can actually upgrade that, so you get the idea where you see the frictions on this, of this one, it's actually got a friction on both sides of the clutch. Now that's really common, that's how it's done. But aftermarket kits, I just grabbed one of these, this is actually a brand new one that we've got. Aftermarket, this is what we call a Z pack. It allows you to put more linings into this clutch, but you've got a set area to work with. You can't put that much more in it unless you're putting thin steels in it, and the trouble with thin steels is that they get hot really quick as well. Or you get a Z pack. What's interesting about a Z pack is that the friction doesn't have a friction on the opposite side. So it's both a friction and a steel, and it runs onto the next friction. So this one goes friction, steel, and it is a steel on both sides. Friction, friction on both sides, steel, and it keeps going. Friction, steel, friction, steel. In this one, every single one of them is actually a friction, where one side is a friction, and the other side is actually a steel. What that does, allows them to put more centimetres, you know, more basically,
Surface area.
yeah, surface area in this clutch, and that's what they call it a Z-pack. So it's a much more high performance clutch to use. And all of our builds have got these in, and all the rest of the parts that we've got here. Time I've played with all these, the guys are going to kill me and that and go, you've been messing with all of our new parts. So that's that one clutch. So that's definitely the reason why that oil looks the way it is, between that and the band. But it's also unusual for the, to see more than one clutch burnt at the same time, unless something else has gone wrong. You got him?
Yep.
These are a heavy circlip on them, aren't they? All right, let's start at the bottom. That's all right. The old sealed pistons. It's a late model one with a moulded piston. Overrun clutch, like brand new. You ever see these overrun clutches ever burn? It's like brand new the day it went in. You know? One-way sprag with the sun gear. Not suspecting anything wrong with this because we didn't see big chunky bits of metal in the bottom or gears and everything like that. This clutch, and that's what I mean, this other one over here, the frictions were supposed to look like that. You can see how burnt that's actually got in that. But no, that clutch is like brand new. The steels are really good. No problems there. A little bit of glazing on that back one. But not the reason. What else we got?
Going further?
Yep. Keep going.
Go.
All right, front planetaries. We take these apart. Annulus gear, all looks good. No teeth missing. That's warm. That bush has gotten into there a little bit, but I've actually seen these actually snapped.
Yeah.
It's quite common, but that's more have an argument with your wife, rev it up, slam it in a gear. It tends to snap the shaft off.
Oh,
it takes a big impact to do it.
That radius there makes it stronger.
Yeah, make it so it hangs in there. Well, they did the same with that bell. Planetary, these look good. No problems there. Not suspecting that. This is what we call the reaction shot. Now this is actually a late one in here. It's actually got a curve on it. So this one's already been done. Because I was going to show you that the standard shells are actually really thin. Because they're thin, all the metal all the way through it is thin, and they actually snap the spline off, just completely shear it out. But this one's actually been upgraded, and it's got a radius edge, and this is, like I said, this is what we use. That's basically what they've done. It's exactly the same, and I can tell because of the sheer thickness of the steel itself. So that's one of the upgrades. So someone's already upgraded that part.
Also the splines were very weak as well on that. They just sometimes just shear the splines out.
Because it is a very, very short spline on these. They're a great auto. You just got to watch the power that you put in them. I'll put that one over there. Over there.
That's done.
Next.
Yep, next. Go that way.
So that's the low reverse clutch at the very back. Looks good. A late one. You can tell it's got cutouts in the steel. See, they put little sections in there. If you know exactly what that is, I'm supposed to be a professional and I don't know that.
Turbulated is what the
Turbulated effect.
is what the manual says.
It's just swiping the oil out.
It's just an area for oil to sit while it moves.
Just to make sure that they keep oil for when they actually are applied. What's employed? Employed? No, when they're applied, then there's already oil in there. But they're all good. There's nothing wrong there. Nothing ever really goes wrong with a low reverse clutch. Output shaft, shorty, two-wheel drive. One's actually way up here, a lot longer. Not too much. Rear planetary. In the early days, my God, didn't they have problems with these? Now, I noticed that this one doesn't have a shroud on it.
No, it doesn't have the oil slinger. Yeah.
It's supposed to have one on it.
And depending on the year of the build, yeah.
On the build?
Yeah, someone might have changed
Because the earlier ones And these used to burn, like the early ones, they used to burn these pins so horribly that absolutely chew me. You'd end up all the needle roller bearings were going on it. Then in later ones, they actually put like a tin shroud on here. And what it was supposed to do is gather the oil and actually direct it into the gears itself. But this one's all right. It's just missing its shroud on that one. Rear annulus, nothing wrong with that. Not suspecting anything there. That's fine. One-way clutch. This is the rear one. A lot of people that build turbo 350s, if you build turbo 350s, you'll find that in here, these rollers on here, much smaller. So it's a good little trick. If you're doing turbo 350s and it's a cheap upgrade, you can actually put a turbo 700 or a 4L60E one-way sprag in it. You're actually beefing it right up. Nothing wrong with this one. The later ones never had problems, really? No. No, it's always just the early ones. I'm not talking really early, the early 700s. And then when they went through this, but I remember I used to always steal the centre supports out of these to do the old 3-speed turbo 350s, and it worked really, really well.
That's us.
So that's it. So that's it. She's all apart. We know what the problem was. The 3/4 clutch. We knew that that was going to be the case. I've shown you the 3/4 clutch. I've shown you the band. I've shown you, when in actual fact, this one actually had the beast drum on it already. That's one thing. Now, there's a couple of other things I want to show you. And one of the most important things, where's my rag I got here? Because I don't want to grab the next part without showing you. If you were going to consider building an auto or choosing this auto for a build, and we see it here all the time, these autos are normally very cheap and to buy, but the problem with them is that the planetaries are small, the shafts are small. To give you an idea, this is a 4L80E input shaft up against a 4L60E, and you can see there is a noticeable difference. I'll come over a bit closer. There is a noticeable difference in the thickness of those shafts, all right? And that is because the 4L80E was built to handle a lot more power with it. And it's not just that. The planetaries on a 4L80E are literally twice the size, right? They're huge. The clutches are bigger and all that. So if you were going to consider, this one's actually, this one's a 1,000 horsepower shaft that we're doing for a big build behind a Cummins for a 4L80E. But if you were going to build a transmission, or you're going to do a manual to automatic conversion, or you're going to build with a high performance engine, always consider the auto that you're going to build. There's no use going, and I would consider this to be a middleweight. I wouldn't say it's a lightweight transmission, it's more a middleweight. It'll handle the smaller capacity engines, like, you know, like 308 or even a 350 Chevy. It'll handle in standard form and all that. It'll work great. You're doing a hot rod where you're just using standard horsepower, and it's really good. They've got a great gear ratio on them. You know, was it 3.06 to 1 is their first gear ratio, compared to their bigger brother, which is a 4L80E, is 2.48, so very tall geared. But the 4L80E is normally built for bigger power engines, so it's got the force and the torque to move it off the line. This one, 3.06 to 1 in gear ratio, the problem is that it was built to handle engines that were of smaller capacity, so they use gear ratios on it. Great overdrive on it though. So 25% overdrive on it. Oh, 30% actually. These are 0.7. So they're 30% overdrive on them. So they're great for lightweight vehicles, kit cars, moderate, small weight engines. But if you get into the Cummins engines or supercharged or turbocharged V8s and all that, this is not the auto for you, because no matter what you do, you will not be able to do anything to save this clutch. You know, we see these snap, the input shafts snap all the time. Yep. We do modify these drums with a sleeve, and you can put a billet input shaft and drum, but you're talking about another $2,000 at least, minimum $2,000 just for a single part in there, when you go to a 4L80E and everything's already much bigger. So do consider, if you are doing a build and you haven't already got the auto, or even if you do have the auto, really think about the power that you're going to put into it, because you're just going to hurt the transmission if you just go too nuts with it. You know, we see them all the time now. It's a bit different than what we normally film here, because normally we do a lot of trader utes and all that, but we do a lot of these builds as well. We started off, this was our bread and butter back in the day, doing these types of builds and everything like that. And there's lots more that you can do, especially if you're doing them from home and that. You got the, the Transgo kits. We do promote them. We don't build them. but we promote them. We use them in some of our builds, and this is one of those builds that we do it.
That is a big thing for fixing that 3/4 clutch, because they've got a lot of pressure losses that cause that.
They do.
Clutch.
So they do think about it. So if you are doing a build like this at home, make sure you do things like the beast drum, the wide band, certainly, you know, the Corvette style piston, and also think of a good, what we call a valve body upgrade kit. In this case, the Transgo one's really good to do in that. And that's it. So please, I hope you liked this episode. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'll be answering them in that as well. If you've got any technical questions about what you've got, you can either put them in the comments below, or you can ring Wholesale Automatics. Interested in a build? Please jump online, search it out. I'll get Kaylin to put the website up now so you can turn around and have a look at what we do. And please like, subscribe. We'd love you to subscribe so you can keep up. We'll be doing a lot more of these as we go. And we'll see you next time.